every morning with drive. Been on the grind, know I had to survive. We had to win. Started from the dirt and the rubble. I had to be the needle that was popping your bubble, letting the air out. Walking with a...
Oh my goodness, what is going on, everyone? This is Todd Hoffman from Zilla Fantasy Elite, and I am here to give you an update on what's been going on this offseason. We are in the process of creating a running back prospect model, and I just wanted to give you an update on that. You know, I'm trying to mess around in R and Python to see if we can't analyze what inputs are most important for running back fantasy point per game success. Again, this is my first foray in there. I did use a training set of the 84 running backs in 2022 with at least 40 opportunities. I cut the opportunities at 40 because I figure that's enough that this person's getting on the field and getting, 2.5 minimum opportunities per game. And really that 40 opportunities is a way for the NFL to say, hey, this person was good enough to get on the field and get at least 40 opportunities this season. We don't really want to include anybody that can't get 40 opportunities in a season within our data set that might skew things. So, hey, these are the ones that are getting on the field for at least 40 opportunities in a season. So I used the 84 running backs in the 2022 season with at least 40 opportunities as that training set. And then I used this model then to score any running back with 40 plus opportunities between 2013 and 2022. So in any of those seasons, any running back that got at least 40 opportunities was then scored, and that output a prospect score. So I built my model to output a prospect score in terms of fantasy points per game to make it something that anyone can relate to. So that's the name of the game. Hey, how many fantasy points are these people putting up on a per game basis? Are they going to be winning me my league? And that's kind of how I output this prospect score in terms of fantasy points per game, so it can be relatable to anybody. And then the current data set contains 310 running backs, and those were, the last 10 seasons. There's 310 running backs that had at least 40 opportunities. And then really with the prospect scores, they're ranging from 7.144, which is Dearness Johnson, to number one overall, Derrick Henry at 19.417. In terms of fantasy points per game, you can kind of think of it that way as far as their prospect score. So this is my first foray into it. The idea is that these incoming rookies, we could then input some of their metrics and spit out a prospect score for them and kind of rank them as far as where they might be. So with that in mind, let's just give a little demo of what we may see. We'll zoom in here of what we'd like to see, and then this will actually say, hey, fake player coming in, let's make up an ideal running back. Hey, they're 220 pounds. They're got to be a BMI of 30, so that's probably right around 6 foot, 220 pounds. This is the pre-draft model, so pre-draft capital. We're going to leave that blank. This particular 220-pound running back blazed a nice 4.42, which gives them a speed score of 115.3. And then their college yards per carry, hey, they were pretty elite. They had 6.8 yards per carry in college. And then their dominator rating, they were very good there. They had a 41.5% college dominator rating. Their prospect score is going to be 18.691 prior to that draft pick, which would put them 8th overall. Just to get an idea, the 3 betters and the 3 worst puts them basically right in between Toby Gerhart and Melvin Gordon in terms of pre-draft capital. 2 better than Adrian Peterson and 3 better than AJ Dillon. And then the next 3 people above this particular fake player, Toby Gerhart, Jonathan Taylor, and Marcel Reese. Again, this is pre-draft capital. That draft pick is actually going to lower that prospect score. So number 1 overall, it's barely going to change. If this player goes undrafted, we actually use a draft pick of 275 for anybody that goes undrafted to put them outside of that top 256 people that get drafted. So 275 is actually used as their particular draft pick. So, if they go undrafted, that 275 is really going to drop their prospect score. If we put that in here, it doesn't change because we don't have it in the particular draft capital model, pre-draft capital model. But any draft pick, number one, it's going to barely change. The higher that number, the bigger the prospect score is going to go. But this particular fake player, 220 pounds, BMI of 30. They ran a 4.42, 6.8 yards per attempt in college, and a 41.5% college dominator rating. They're going to have a pretty high. So that's number 8 overall out of 311, essentially, players. So you can think of this player would be, super elite. We're looking at Melvin Gordon, Adrian Peterson, Jonathan Taylor range as far as this prospect coming out of college. Once that draft pick is in there, it's going to shuffle that rank. We see Marcel Reese in there. Toby Gerhardt actually had some pretty high capital, but Marcel Reese, he's actually a fullback. I don't even know if he got drafted, but he's way down there. Once you put in the draft pick, he drops way down on this list. But pre-draft capital, he looked pretty good. Very athletic and big dude. So that's kind of how this is going to work. It's going to spit out something like this. And these numbers aren't accurate, but we're going to go through and do incoming rookie prospect profiles. We see here Bijan Robinson. These numbers, height, weight, BMI, giving that prospect score. But that will be kind of how this is outputted, just to give you a sense of what you may see coming down the road in some of these prospect profiles. Actually, let's put in pre-draft capital. Let's find a fake player. Let's go over to playerprofiler.com and let's see if we can find a particular guy that we want to see pre-draft, what they are like. So, all right, so we have Zach Charbonnet here. You can see the clip, 4'5'3", 6 foot, 214 pounds, BMI of 29. We'll just put in his particular stats here. So not a fake player, Zach Charbonnet. Weight, we have 214 pounds. BMI is actually 29.0. 40-yard dash, 4.53. Which gives them that speed score. College yards per carry was actually 7.0. Very impressive there. College dominator, best of 0.306. And that will give us a prospect score of 16.485. Again, you can think of this in terms of fantasy points per game. But that ranks them 86th out of 311 overall. Not a bad prospect profile. We kind of see the people that are in that particular prospect score range. A little bit better, J.K. Dobbins, Kalen Ballage, Kenneth Dixon, mix of success and misses in there. Next worst ones, Austin Eckler, Tyler Algier, Andre Brown. So you can kind of see where that Zach Charbonnet prospect profile falls. J.K. Dobbins, Austin Eckler, Tyler Algier. Some of those guys very successful. Kalen Ballage, Kenneth Dixon, Andre Brown, not very successful. So gives you a little range of, who you can expect them to almost mirror, giving the next nearest prospect scores there. So look forward to some of these videos moving forward. Again, we saw the Bijan Robinson hype video there, or the hype picture. Expect something like this where we go over their prospect score, the rank, and perhaps their next comparables, or where they sit on those prospect scores, and some of the other prospects coming out of college. We'll get that once those draft capital figures are made knowledgeable there at the end of April, and we'll say, hey, these people, excellent profile, or hey, maybe not so much. This is who they're nearby, and it's looking kind of gross, and we'll go from there. Appreciate the view, everybody. Hopefully you can gather some knowledge on a little bit of a process here. As far as I know, it's a unique prospect model to just myself. And we'll look forward to providing you with some of these rookie profiles. And I appreciate you watching, kind of listening to what's going on in the Zilla Fantasy Elite world and my world in terms of R, Python coding. Ideally, we're going to put in some Python code to see what exactly, not just these particular metrics, but maybe 26 different metrics that a running back may have, and properly weight those in the neural network to say, hey, this much weight should be attributed to get an outcome of this in terms of fantasy points per game. And based off of that, you input what a particular player has on these inputs, and it'll output what the prospect score or their fantasy points per game may be. And that's going to be hopefully version 2.0, and maybe a little bit more robust than this particular model. But we did see a top 10 of some pretty elite players on here. None of them really a bust in that consideration outside of Rashad Penny, but Rashad Penny is truly one of the most efficient running backs in NFL history in terms of a per touch basis and how many fantasy points they're scoring. So even the one in the top 10 that wasn't necessarily a huge success on a year-to-year basis was Rashad Penny, and we found him being very elite in terms of a per touch fantasy point basis. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit that subscribe button and follow me over on Twitter at Todzilla1337. Appreciate the watch. Have a good one, folks. Bye.
Wake up every morning with drive. Been on the grind, know I had to survive. We had to win. Started from the dirt and the rubble. I had to be the needle that was popping your